Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper of Viperland, and we return with some House of Fata Morgana. Also, hey Ramen, how's it going? And Ark, welcome to Viperland in the chat. That's on so yeah. I've heard some of the alternate ones. My favorite of the more recent ones, and I definitely had mentioned it, Cider Spider, whenever he gets any of the MSQ roulette stuff. Why didn't that work? Hold on, my bot is running, right? My bot's running, it looks like connected. Oh, I didn't hear it. I think the game is just very loud. Okay. But yeah, Cider Spider likes to do funny ones whenever he gets an MSQ, he does edits of them. And see, I heard that one. My favorite of the more recent ones before we get into the game is he set the language options to French for all of La Habrea's lines, and then Gaius would just be like, "What?" So you'd hear a long French speech followed by "Speak plainly, Asian," and that was the whole joke for the whole thing, and it was just wow. He's done a bunch of other good ones that I like, but I think that's so far the best one. It just what? Speak plainly, Asian. Even when he's very clearly saying like Ultima. What? Just So we finished Ascento Deli last time, which I'm definitely saying wrong, but I'm not going to look it up because I'm not going to have to say it again. And I guess today we're starting Happily Ever After. If it's as short as the last one, it'll be a one streamer, but who knows? Because this was what, like a 5 streamer? So who the hell knows? But we're starting this one. I don't even know what to expect because I was like, yeah, that's going to be Bestia. It wasn't Bestia. So let's just go. A tale beyond their happy end. Oh. Well, that's a nice, like... Oh. You know, gotta have sounds of being awoken. Ah! No going back to sleep. Going back to sleep today, Mikael. Time. What's the time? What? 9? We're meeting at 10. That was my second alarm, wasn't it? Out of bed now. No time to waste. How big of an oaf would I look if I were late because I slept in? Psh, we've all done it. Normally I have no problem waking up, but I had trouble falling asleep last night thanks to my nerves. What am I, a 5-year-old? Skinny ass fans, yeah. Breakfast I can do without. I need to get dressed and cleaned up. Teeth brush, check. Hairbrush, check. Buttons all lined up properly, check. Tagged removes from my new shirt, check. I'll always run with toast in your mouth. What is he, an anime schoolgirl? I mean, maybe. Room, a disaster. I was planning to clean it when I got up this morning. That's fine, though. It's not like I'm inviting her over. I shouldn't even be thinking about that on our first time out. Okay, all set. Here goes. Happily ever after. Yep, that's a city street. There are memories ingrained in my soul. Were I to tell anyone, they might think I was mad, or maybe that I'd been reading too many New Age self-help books, or possibly even that I was a member of a shady cult. But in any event, it likely wouldn't give many people a good impression of me. In my memory of my past life, the soul was held in greater regard, and the church wielded nearly absolute power. Excuse me. But neither of those things were true in the present day. Yeah, after stories are known to be the best and the happiest, while people had more freedom, more choices, and more opportunities than ever before. There were things they had lost, no longer accepted, that the soul was real, that miracles actually happened, that there was still so much about the world we didn't know, didn't understand. People these days were simply not inclined to accept such truths. But I wasn't particularly troubled by the fact that few were likely to believe me. I didn't feel alone in my knowledge, because I wasn't. Because on that fateful day we found each other again. She turned towards me the very same Giselle from my memories. And just as I recognized her, she too knew exactly who I was. I mean, you know, even if it is or isn't, we still have at least 2 more things to go through. The 2 of us have memories. Memories ingrained in our souls. No longer do these memories serve as shackles. If I can keep up this pace, I should make it right on time. Goodness. That's what you get for skipping breakfast. Please, for the love of all that's holy, don't growl in front of her. In a turn of events that can only be described as miraculous, we were reunited after nearly 1,000 years. It was a sort of dramatic moment you might see at the end of a movie or a novel, the point at which the story was finished and nothing more needed to be told. Also, do you think she would laugh if his stomach growled and he said, "Not now, bestia"? Or "Down, bestia"? Do you think she'd laugh? I think she would. But our lives continued on past that moment. An uneventful, hardly noteworthy succession of days. Nothing particularly different from what you might find in any other random person you chose off the street, but it was that little fistful of happiness we had sought for so many years. We were just 2 ordinary people now. Except unlike all the people in the background, we were anime. There's no drama or excitement in the tale that follows. Only a small slice of 2 regular lives. It had only been about a week since our reunion. And while I would have loved to have grabbed Giselle by the hand and take her home with me right then and there, I couldn't simply uproot her from her own life. Both of us were busier than we had been in the Middle Ages, myself with work and her with university. So after that, we quickly caught each other up on our present life situation, exchanged contact information, and agreed to meet up the following week. I then walked her to her station, and that was the end of that. A rather underwhelmingly mundane conclusion to such a dramatically tearful reunion. Especially coming right after I had said, "I want to spend my days with you," with that smile always at my side and nothing to get in our way. But I suppose it shouldn't have come as any surprise that reality wasn't as simple as fairy tales. That meant today would be our first chance to spend any real quality time together, hence the butterflies in my stomach and having not gotten much sleep last night. By all accounts, I had no reason to be nervous. We knew each other better than perhaps 2 people ever should. But this was different. This was now. We weren't just in a new era, we'd been given entirely new lives. Not a second late. Sure, okay. Am I here first? Thank goodness. I wanted to start off from the right foot here. Keeping her waiting is not the way to do that. But thankfully Mikhail did not make it here before her. Good morning. Good morning, Giselle. Are you feeling okay? You're as red as a beet and you're breathing pretty heavily. Yeah, I ran all the way here. Never felt better. Well enough to do a little running, in fact. You ran all the way here? Oh yes, the subtle NordVPN, of course. It really is telling that we see that word and immediately just think VPNs. Worst thing that happens is working retail. Yeah, the future. There's no need to rush. I didn't want... I hope I didn't keep you waiting. Oh no, not at all. You're here right in front, right on time. Suspected you might show up early, so I wanted to be here at least 5 minutes beforehand. Suppose I did show up a bit early. When did you get here exactly? About 5 minutes ago, I think. She's been here for like 6 hours, right? Now the truth. 9:30. That's way too early. I was just, so eager to see you again. Sorry, I let myself get a bit too excited, didn't I? No, it's fine. I mean, I hardly slept for the same reason, so... Anyway, I'm sorry for making you wait so long. No worries. How could you possibly have known to get here that early? She's been camping here. Like, how long have you been here? She hides the tent behind a pole behind her. I don't know, 5 minutes? Spent the extra time in the cafe right there, and I couldn't have been happier. Happier about waiting? Absolutely. You can see the station's entrance through the cafe windows. And as I was sitting there, giddily imagining you out there among the crowds looking for me, that 30 minutes went by before I even knew it. But at least that's so. Was that creepy? No, not creepy at all, just... My heart may have skipped a beat. Ah. And don't forget, I'm a pro when it comes to waiting. Oh. Glad she can say that with a smile now, but oh. Don't ever go super early if you work. Oh yeah, no. Half an hour may as well be half a second, and she's not wrong. I'll still try and avoid keeping you waiting in the future. I'd appreciate that. So, what's the plan? You said we were going to choose where we went. Ah, yeah. Today's schedule was all on me, at my own request. For one, I wanted to show her I could be more proactive than in the past, and for two, I wanted her to just be able to enjoy the day without worrying about anything else. After all, this was our first date. Shall we start with a movie then? Oh, I like that idea. Haven't been to the cinema in a while, but it's just not the same watching on a TV at home. It's true, it's not. Depends on the movie, but for most part, yeah. I mean, maybe she did, I don't know. To be fair, I don't know exactly when this takes place. Like, we know modern day, but like, I don't know if it's quite cell phone era modern day or just before that. They exchanged contact information. He did say it was his second alarm, which to me implies cell phone. Like, I used to have an actual clock that was also an alarm and a radio, but I don't ever remember setting 2 alarms on it. It was always just a one-time thing, whereas like multiple alarms, to me at least, is a very cell phone thing. Not that I guess you couldn't have sent multiples, but you know. I can't wait. I was afraid I might come off as too safe, but Giselle seems fond of the idea. Thank you, whoever invented movie theater. Yes, of course. And thank you, whoever wrote that dating manual. Yeah, that checks out too. So, what are we going to see? I do love that they gave his modern sprite such a panicked look. Oh. Oh? What should we see? So you only decided on a movie and not a specific one, Mikhail. Yeah, it checks out. Thought you wanted to go because you had something in mind. Sorry, I was so focused on figuring out where to take you. Took 2 steps out of the gate. Reading the dating manual. Oh yeah, all 3 of them would be poring over it. He would admit he needed help. The other 2 would try to coach him along the way, even though we know they know nothing. They know less than he does, but they would act like they were the pros and could teach him. Yeah. You should go see the new Chainsaw Man movie. That would be a great date night. Honestly, you should go do that. It's phenomenal. Please do. Oh, don't beat yourself up. It's fine. Finding something to see once you're there is fun too. Let's do that then. We'll go to one of the bigger theaters, something with a large selection. Perfect. I don't know. I don't see a cinema. I see restaurants and... Oh, well, that one. Kale, very, very silly question for you. Yes? Are you someone who gets popcorn at the theater? Well, she wasn't lying about how silly it was. That said, my empty stomach appreciates her bringing up the subject of food. Mikhail? Right. Not usually. I prefer to focus on the movie. Well, see, that's why there's so many previews, so you can eat all the popcorn before the movie even starts. Come on. Get with the program. To be fair, recently I don't get popcorn at movies either. It's just too expensive. It's delicious. Oftentimes someone else will get one to share, but like... That said, if you're on a date, you should absolutely get a popcorn, but you know. It's so expensive. It is good, I won't dispute, but... Though I should get it more often, just because I don't see movies that often. I see maybe once a year in theaters. Technically, I've seen 2 this year, just because Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer came out, and I was invited to see Demon Slayer. If I'm only going to go once a year, I should probably treat myself to a flippin' popcorn. Oh really? I like to have a bag to munch on while I'm watching, personally. By all means. It's not going to bother you hearing me crunch in your ear? How close to my ear do you plan on being for this whole movie? Like, I feel like I've gone on movie dates and I've never had somebody literally lean in my ear and like, on something popcorn ASMR. Yeah. Not particularly, no. For anyone else, then maybe. Popcorn's not even that loud of a food, man. Come on. Yeah, right? It's like... At most, you'd hear the shuffling around in the bag or paper cup of popcorn. It's not that bad. No, see, for me, it's just, I don't even know what movies are out, but it is not a long drive for me. It's like a 3-minute bike ride. Like, the place I get my breakfast at, that I bike ride to at like 7 in the morning, barely awake, it's literally across the street. It's right there. Like, I could see anything at any time I ever wanted. I just don't really go often. I should see more movies in theaters. The thing is, my roommates don't go often. They don't see a lot of movies in theaters. And even though I know I can see a movie solo, I never do. Nothing's stopping me. There's nothing stopping me. But I also don't usually know the movies that are out. So, you know, there's a bit of many factors there. See, I like a good movie, but lately I haven't seen many in theaters. We've only recently started getting the full anime movies. That's not a long-standing thing. That's much more recent. I mean, usually by the time I see a movie, it's because I've already heard it's so great from like a dozen people. So at that rate, I may as well just commit to seeing it in the theater anyway, if I know it's going to be great, because enough people have told me it's probably going to be great, and so far that hasn't been wrong. Not to say it couldn't be. People can love something and I might not like it, but it hasn't been wrong yet. Oh yeah, no, it's great that the anime movies are actually becoming watchable in many places. That said, I'll probably Discord stream the Chainsaw Man movie at some point anyway, just to guarantee that more people see it. Also, definitely gonna, every single episode that shows up of Sanda that we watch, just guarantees I'm definitely Discord streaming Sanda before the holidays. It's so good. It's so good. And the other anime that I'm loving and nobody else is ever watching is Nausea, because I loved the hell out of that game, and the adaptation so far is really good. My only real worry is the same as Afro's, which is I don't know if they're going fast enough to cover everything, but also if they went any faster, it would be confusing to anybody who didn't play the games. So I think it's also got shockingly high production values and a great OP and ED. It is getting more love than any visual novel that was any 6-year-old PS Vita visual novel deserves. I don't know what planets aligned to make this happen, but it's happening. And I love it, but I don't understand it. I'm in a popcorn mood today myself, so I'll get a bag as well. Can't fight this hunger any longer. Oh, alright then, we'll get one salted and one sweetened. Oh, the ticket counter's open. See, we don't have sweetened popcorn around here, but if they sold, like, caramel popcorn or, like, kettle corn, like hot kettle corn at a movie theater, I would definitely buy that. Like, 100%. It's just not something we really have, but I would totally be down for that. Oh, I like sweet popcorn. I think push comes to shove, I'll always take the buttered salted. If somebody was like, gun to your head, which one do you want? Like, if I had to give up one forever and only have one, I think I'd stick with the buttered and salted. But I like a sweet popcorn. Caramel corn, kettle corn, really like them. I think kettle corn's the best because you get a little bit of the salty and a little bit of the sweet. I think that's my personal favorite. Also a big fan of the, like, Smart Food cheese popcorn, obviously. I think everybody loves that to some degree. Have you decided what we're seeing? Salted butter kind that will give you a heart attack. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't like that. Is there anything you'd like to see? I was thinking you could choose. Says the man who insisted on choosing everything for the date night. I want you to decide, Mikhail. I'm curious to see what kind of movie you pick. I see. Well then. Oh, do I actually get to pick? Ooh. Ooh. And we've got choices, yo. We've got choices. Hold on. This is the most important choice of this game right here. This is it. So we can safely assume animated might not necessarily mean like anime animated. I'm going to assume it means like maybe not necessarily a Disney movie or something adjacent.
She's got huge boobs.
Okay, so do we pick what we want to see, or do we pick what we think Mikhail would actually pick? Honestly, I think if it was him, I don't know. I can't imagine action. I don't think he would do horror, even though I'm sure both of them could shrug off a horror. I don't know if he'd be ballsy enough to do romance. He's definitely not ballsy enough to do naughty. And I don't know if he would know enough animated stuff. Like, I really don't know what he would do. Yeah, I think by the process of elimination, I think naughty is the least likely. Horror is the second least likely, which leaves action, romance, animated. Just doesn't seem action or animated. So you're right, it might just be romance just by like default, by lack of other options. I would argue animation would be the second place option, for sure. We saved. We can always come back to this choice. I think romance. I honestly kind of think he might chicken out of romance. I really do. I really think that would be his first thought of what he'd want. I think romance is what he'd want to see, but I think what he'd pick would be something else. I'm going to go animated, and not just because we were talking about anime. I honestly think that's what he'd go with. I mean, look, I really think they would shrug off horror, but I don't think he'd pick it for the fear of dredging up bad memories. I honestly think it would bounce right off them, but I think he would not pick. I think horror would be the last one he'd ever pick for that exact reason, just in case. Even though I think they'd be fine. I think if I would have put myself in his shoes, I'd be like, no, I'm not picking that. No. I think, okay, horror's not last. I think naughty would be last, with horror right above it, of like the last two he'd pick. The other three you could make arguments for, but I really think he'd want romance, but be too afraid to do it. And I don't think the fallback for romance is action. So that just leaves animation. That's how we got here. Oh, an animated movie? Wow, just look at them. They're so small and adorable. The poster makes it look like a children's movie, though. I thought it would be nice to see something easygoing and relaxing. Oh yeah, starting off the day with something heavy doesn't seem wise. This is probably a safe choice, then. Yeah, and let's be honest, there's nothing more Michaela on a first date than a safe choice. I know, because I've also made the safe choice a lot of times. That said, I've also had my first date be Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, so you know, it can vary. It can vary. Oh, yeah, 100%. She would pick it just to watch him squirm. 1,000,000% she would. No question. She would absolutely pick naughty and just watch him be uncomfortable the whole time. What? Excuse you? Excuse me, what? Plus, they're usually written so the adults can enjoy them too. Yeah, it's fair. They usually are. Oh yeah, no. My first date with my first ever girlfriend was Eternal Sunshine in the Spotless Mind in theaters. It's a hell of a movie. It's a hell of a movie. I'll say that. That was her pick. She was strange, but so are many people in high school, including me. So, you know, time has passed to no judgment. It's just a statement of people are strange in high school. I do not exclude myself at all from this. Such as parents watching with their kids. I hope it's good. Alright, well, I'll go get the tickets. I won't be too long. I'm coming with you, and I'd at least like to pay for... No, please allow me, if you would. Okay. Thank you. Why did they have so many great expressions for this little section? They didn't have to, at all. Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! That is not the animated movie I expected either. Holy crap. Oh. Clearly not their sense of humor, because my biggest memory of the South Park movie is it almost killed my dad. He laughed so hard, he couldn't breathe, and he fell off the couch, gasping for air. The first time Uncle Fucker played, it almost killed him. And that is my main memory of South Park, the movie. That and them nominating Blame Canada for a award because it was the only song they could actually play a preview of. Let's be honest, that's not the best song in that movie, but it's the only one you could play a little clip of for somebody. Why did Kenny die so many times? Why? Look at that! Why indeed? Why is it so gruesome when everyone's so cute and stylized? Why indeed? It was a cartoon. Why was everyone so vulgar? Why indeed? It was not the calm and relaxing movie I was expecting. I have an overwhelming urge to shout, "You bastard!" I love the subtlety of us immediately knowing the exact movie they're talking about. Oh my goodness. I'm very sorry. Imagine living in a world where you see a movie... Well, no, that happens. No, that happens. When we went to go see the first Made in Abyss movie, which is really just a recap of the first bit of the series with a little bit of new animation, there was definitely two people in that theater that went into that theater seeing an animated movie poster thinking this will be a fun time, and they left pretty early into that showing. And I don't blame them at all. So there are definitely people who just see, I mean, they see an animated thing and they just leave. Or they're like, oh, it's for kids. All animation is for kids, obviously. Or is at least family friendly. They're not accurate. Yeah, I guess we know the time frame, yeah. Yes, there was definitely an adult, and I wouldn't say a child, I would say like middle school, early high school aged. Not quite an adult, but I wouldn't call them like a child. Definitely somebody who probably didn't... It was clear they didn't know what that movie was, because they both definitely just left after a while. I stand by that first season world building, but after finding out a bit more about the manga and mangaka, we didn't really follow it further. Also, it is bad things happen to people in that anime, but the world building is pretty damn great. I'm very sorry. Oh, not at you, Mikhail. At the movie, and the characters, and whoever wrote it. I wasn't expecting it to be a dark comedy. What on earth was the ratings commission thinking? Okay, well, look, not for nothing. South Park was an R-rated movie. It was not subtle about that. It was an R-rated movie. So, obviously he wasn't paying attention, but if he had cared to look at the movie poster, he would have seen that maybe... How is that appropriate for all ages 12 and up? No. There's no movie board in the world that would have the South Park movie be rated for all audiences 12 and up. There's no PG-13 cut of South Park. Yeah, I am also curious. Should we just see? Let's let the scene end and then at least have a brief bit. What a horrible, terrible movie, honestly. Though, it was pretty funny. To tell the truth, I had trouble holding back laughter at points as well. Guess a little dark humor isn't bad every once in a while. Looks like it was based on a TV show too, so we should get together and watch it sometime. Look, I've enjoyed a good few South Park episodes, but I don't know if the movie hit you guys like that. I don't know if that's, 30 seconds ago you were saying it was terrible. Now you're planning to binge watch? I'm gonna binge watch it, silly. I'm certainly not curious to see how many different ways they can come up with to kill Kenny. I feel like I've just gotten a glimpse at Giselle's dark side. But we can arrange that later. What's next on the schedule? Alright, so hold on. Let's save it again here. I'll at least see what the naughty one is, because I just want to see him squirm. Same as Giselle. Let's be honest here. Like, it's right there. We have to at least see. How about this one? What? Huh? Do you really want to see that one? Yes, it sounds like an interesting romance. I mean, she knows at least. Busty Maid Paradise lost in her mountains. Excuse me? I accidentally pointed to the 18+ movie next to it. He literally tries to point at the romance and misses. Oh, no, that wasn't the one I wanted to... Oh, right. Oh, thank goodness. I meant the... Let's do it. Let's watch Busty Maid Paradise. Let's what? I know how hard it must have been for you to work up the courage to ask, and I'm not about to trample on your efforts, Mikhail. Wait. What? It'll be a little awkward, but I'll try to deal with it. Whoa, stop. I didn't. You're a boy, and I didn't have movies like this in our previous life. I completely, totally understand why you'd want to watch it. No, please stop. I swear that wasn't the one I was pointing to. Besides, I'm not a boy. I'm a 27-year-old man, and I've lived in this era long enough to know there's plenty more where this came from. That's not the point. Oh, no need to be bashful, Mikhail. That smile is scaring the hell out of me. Now, come on, let's get going. Excuse me, I'd like 2 tickets for Busty Maid Paradise. No, you don't. Why are they even showing this in a damn theater? Again, she's having fun because he's going to squirm for the entire duration of that movie. 100%. Like, there's no other way. Are you alright, Mikhail? I'll live. You startled me when you ran out of the theater. And then I find you on the ground outside, lying in a puddle of your own nosebleed. Ah, yes, he was anime the whole time. You should get some rest. There's a bench right there. I'm sorry about everything. I had fun watching your face turn every color of the rainbow, so don't worry about anything. I'm supposed to not worry. It was my job to plan out this date, and I've gone and made it a total disaster out of it. And it was a very bold film. What we saw of it, at least. I've never seen one of those kinds of movies before. Not sure what I'd even say if you watch them regularly. Do you watch them very often, Mikhail? What? I mean, most guys do, right? Well, don't be afraid to tell me. I'm very open-minded. I won't be upset even if you watch them every day. I see. Although, now that you have me, kind of don't really like the idea of you looking at other women like that. I'm kidding. Forget I said anything. Sure. That nosebleed's still going, huh? And whose fault is that? You for missing your point. Oh, thank goodness it stopped. Thank something. It's getting ready to call an ambulance if it went on much longer. Make a great punchline to this train wreck of a first date. Alright, so let's go back to the other one. Whew. Well. Alright, what's next on the schedule? I was thinking we could go to a cafe nearby and relax, or maybe a park. The weather is quite nice. Also, 1 second. It's not a nosebleed, it's just the weather changing all the time. Oh, I'm sure, but let's be honest, will anything be more important than that choice? Doubtful. Let's go to the park then. I brought lunch for us. Oh, that's nice. Oh, you did? Where did she keep it this whole time, through the whole movie? Does that mess up your plans? Oh no, not at all. I'm thrilled. I love your cooking. Thank you. This will be the first time you've had it in a millennium, huh? Not something you hear every day. Yeah, this is a totally normal first date. But, like, they never really went on a date before. They just kind of annoyed each other into love and then kind of just, you know, lived that way until they didn't. So this is kind of their first date. Oh, I just realized. Are you alright spending so much time outside? You're still sensitive to sunlight, aren't you? Sorry, I should have asked you sooner, but it completely slipped my mind. Ah, don't worry, I'm fine. A lot of progress has been made in the last 1,000 years. My doctor has me using special sunscreen, and I make sure to keep a pair of sunglasses on me at all times. While it does still cause slight inconveniences, the difference between before is night and day. So glad to hear that. It's almost like modern medicine good or something. I like this spot. Certainly are a lot of people here, though I suppose it is the weekend. Looking out at the beautiful scenery, everyone's just quietly enjoying themselves. Life is good, wouldn't you say? Yeah, stuff happened, you know, slight things. Look at them, you can even nap here. The weather is great, so I can hardly blame them. Would you like to join the fun after we eat? My lap is yours for the napping. My lap is yours for the... I would love absolutely nothing more, but I don't want to answer too quickly and come off as clingy or creepy. Plus, I feel like it would be rude to sleep on our first date. Let's spread out the blankets and have a lunch then, shall we? I made an assortment of sandwiches. You snooze, you lose. Thank you very much. The sandwiches were delicious. Oh no, it was my pleasure. I'd love to make you something a little more hearty next time. You'll have to come over sometime. I'd be happy to, but don't you live with your family? Would that make it too awkward? Yeah, that's definitely something that neither of them have really encountered of the other, is their families. Well, sorry, not in any positive light. Now wear my best suit and bring a gift. That would just make it even more awkward. My mom and sister are relaxed, friendly girls. Make yourself right at home. And your father? I know he passed away when she was young in our previous lives. Oh, my dad? I guess it's the same this time around. Oh god, I forgot about him! He's always like, if you bring a guy home, I'll make sure he never comes back again. Right. Glad to hear he's alive and well. He's a bit overprotective. I don't think he actually means it, though. I'll have to meet them eventually. so I'll make sure I'm ready for anything. And, how are your parents, Mikhail? They can't possibly be worse than before. They're doing fine. They live in the suburbs not far from here, and I go back to visit occasionally. Oh, neat. Sounds like things are pretty different for both of us this time around. Again, they couldn't possibly have been worse, so up was the only way to go. Out of curiosity, are your parents Lady Liddy and Lord Antonin? I don't think the Lord and Lady is necessary. Force a habit. But no, they are not my parents this time. And ever since my memories came back, I've had odd moments of disassociation where my life doesn't feel like it belongs to me. Oh yeah, that's happened to me a few times. Some things are the same as before, but a lot's changed. Sometimes memories of my old family come back to me and I start wishing I could see them again. Tell me. Am I any different? I am, aren't I? Can't possibly be the exact same person I was back then. I have a different family, different values. I was raised in a different environment. Same could be said of me. I've led a very different life than my previous one. Good, on all accounts, good. Read that we're always changing, that we're never exactly the same person we were even a second ago. Oh. Cells are constantly dying and dividing. Around 10% of the bone tissue of your body is replaced every year. I can hardly be considered the same man I was merely a few years ago, never mind in an entirely different life. I guess. And that's just on a physiological level. The mind is the same way. I didn't think and feel the same way as a child that I do now. We are, in essence, in a perpetual state of transformation. I still think of you as the same Mikhail, though. And I also think of you as the same Mikhail. That's all there is to it. While scientifically speaking, we may be constantly changing, we're still able to recognize each other as each other. Perhaps that is the nature of the soul. I love the Giselle of a second ago, the Giselle of the present, and the Giselle of every second to come, all as one. Me too. Now, that is something the old Mikhail would never have said. Could never have said, I imagine. Jeez, you caught me off guard, and now I'm all flustered. I can refrain in the future if you would prefer. No, don't even think about it. Tell me more. I want to hear more. I'll see what I can do. Way to kill the mood, Captain Awkward. Putting pressure on me like that. This isn't making this any easier. You really aren't all that different, are you? Probably not. Still sometimes wonder if maybe this is all the dream. Honestly, wasn't sure we would ever cross paths. That we would ever have this reunion. I even questioned whether anything I remembered was true. Why am I coughing so much? It's been like 2 weeks, and I still cannot shake this cough, and I hate it. Also, hey, Trupoka? Probably saying that wrong. Trupa okay? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing? We're getting to some stuff, yeah. This seems so far less depressing than your average Fata Morgana stuff, you know. I've felt fine since the last Wednesday in terms of like energy and like not feeling sick, but I cannot shake this cough at all. And neither can Calico. It's been longer for her and she's still got the cough too, and it sucks. It's at best in real life an inconvenience, but it is more annoying for streaming. Maybe I was just delusional. No one believes in reincarnation or past lives today, so it's sometimes hard to believe in myself, you know? But still, you came looking. For as much as I couldn't believe, I wanted to believe 10 times more. that our time together, that the things I felt, that everything that took place in that mansion wasn't just my delusion. And I'm so glad I did, as am I. I felt much the same way. Thought I was confused, my mind playing tricks on me, but as time passed and the fog slowly cleared, I felt a strange clarity that I would find you if I went there. And I'm so glad I did. I wonder what everyone else is up to. Everyone else? Hello. Yeah, bot. Bonk. I mean, we're here, so it wouldn't be that strange if everyone else that was trapped in the mansion were too. On my way to see you that day, I actually ran into someone who we might have known. Oh? A man with wavy hair lost his hat in the wind, and I picked it up for him. When he saw me, he asked if we had met before, and the way he talked, it sounded like he was looking for someone. Huh. Do you want to maybe see if we can find them? And do what? I don't know. Have a class reunion? You mean therapy session? 1,000-year reunion would be quite the unusual event. I wouldn't mind seeing them, although I don't think we should go out of our way looking. They have their own lives now, much like we ours. We're free from the shackles that once bound us, and we should continue to be free to walk our own paths. Yeah, you're right. Though I do kind of hope we run into each other sometime. If we do, that simply means we were traveling intersecting paths. I like the sound of that. The hand of fate guides us. Indeed. Though, to tell you the truth, until recently I didn't believe in fate or miracles or souls, anything that couldn't be demonstrated by science. Oh, you didn't? Well, guess that's normal in this day and age. But now that I've experienced it for myself, I can no longer not believe. It would be hard not to, yeah, a little difficult. Mikhail, I know I just said we shouldn't go out of our way to look for anyone, but there is one person I would like to find. Oh, I know, your brothers. I said one person, though I would like to see them too. I was referring to her. I promised her that when we meet again we would be friends. I'd like that too, to see her again, to be friends. Wants to find bro. It's gotta be such a weird concept to have your brothers reincarnated to be not your brothers. All we need is bro. To see her again, to be friends, and to put a smile on her face. Well, I think we've done enough relaxing to last all week. Lies. You gotta have a busy life if you think spending a few hours in a park sitting down is enough relaxing for all week. Ooh, what's next on the schedule? I mean, I wouldn't mind staying here all day if that's what you want. I was thinking we could head into town, maybe do some window shopping. Sounds like a plan. Oh, was there something funny about that? Just who would have thought the day would come when you would suggest we go out into the town together? That I wasn't holed up in there because I wanted to be. If things were different, I would have had no problem going outside. If you say so, Mikhail. Oh, speaking of books, have you ever thought about writing anything, Mikhail? Write a novel? Why would I? I've had some rather unique experiences, and I thought maybe they might make a good book. First of all, I have the writing ability of a 7th grader. That's good. I have the penmanship of a 7th grader. Oh, that's surprising. Do I look like the writing type? You're smart. It seems like something you'd be good at. I would probably be a much better conversationalist if I were any good with words. I wasn't actually sure if you realized how bad you were at that. I can assure you, I'm well aware. But you know, being able to express yourself verbally and on paper are two completely different skill sets. It may take you an hour to come up with exactly the right words to use, but writing doesn't have a time limit. Regardless, I don't think I could write about that. How about you? Suspect you might be the better fit for the job. What? Me? I don't think I'd make a very good writer either. This is going to sound silly coming from me as the one who suggested it, but I think it might be best to keep our memories to ourselves. Putting something so personal, so special like that out there for all the world to see kind of makes it lose a little bit of the magic, you know? I didn't see anything. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And so much of those experiences I could never put into words, no matter what I thought of my own writing ability. Nor am I interested in putting them on display. They're precious in part because they're our experiences, and I would like to keep it that way. Yeah. Well, sounds like we're in agreement. So next topic. We should buy something while we're here. Then we can sit shoulder to shoulder on the sofa and read together. No objections. However, it might be best to buy separately, so we each have something we can enjoy. One book. One couch. A trip down memory lane. But, pardon? You remember that time we sat by the fireplace together reading from the same book? You were so stiff and cold. That was before we had fallen in love even. That was right about the time we started getting closer. Or do you not remember? Of course I do. Remember that day crystal clear. I heated up some awful wine on the fire, then we made ourselves nice and warm and read a book of adventure stories. As I recall, it was not yet especially kind to you at that point in time. Yeah, no, I'm sure. Also, look, if I was George R. R. Martin and I had clearly grown tired of writing the ongoing series that I had written, I'd probably just coast and make the money I was going to make too. If I was a bigger fan of his books, I'd probably be pissed as well. I get it. But if I was him, and he's clearly lost interest in writing that, and is in no longer a place where he has to write it because he's making enough money, I'd probably do the same thing. Yeah, and honestly, I'd rather, again, as somebody who's not, like, I watched the show, but, like, I wouldn't still call myself, like, a huge fan, but I think it's still probably better to leave it unfinished than try to force an ending. Yeah, it's gotta suck for the fans, but the what ifs and fan theories and everything have gotta be better than a concrete ending that didn't have heart and soul behind it after that long. It's definitely the better of the lesser of two evils for sure, but oh, I gotta tell Potts, I forgot. They put out a set of Union Arena Yu Yu Hakusho cards, and while I've never seen the show, I know Potts is a big fan, so I gotta ask if they'd be interested in me opening a box on camera. Yeah, I didn't even notice it. It apparently came out right before Kaiju number 8, which I bought a box and opened with roommates off camera, because we've been watching it together. Kaiju number 8's a lot of fun. But Yu Yu Hakusho has one, and I guess they're coming out with a Nikkei set as well, which is funny because the card art is just the same as the Weiss Schwartz stuff, but I'm still gonna buy a box because I'm an idiot. Even though I've never hit anything big in Union Arena, whereas I've hit big in Weiss Schwartz. I've also missed big in Weiss Schwartz. To be fair, I have missed so many boxes of Weiss Schwartz, but when I hit in Weiss Schwartz, it's a hit. And when I, like, even the hits in Union Arena are like $100, which is nice. I wouldn't complain about a $100 hit, but we're not talking the massive, stupid Weiss Schwartz hits. Still, I'm gonna ask Potts if they want to see a box opened. The plus side is also Weiss Schwartz tends to be, these days, more in the 60-70 range for a box, and Union Arena tends to be in the, like, 40-50 range, so it is a little less expensive. Yeah, FMA was pretty nifty, but even then, like, I never got any of the, like, hits from that, but it was still cool. I was happy to open a box. Same with the One Punch Man. Except I've sold a bunch of the FMA cards. Nobody bought any of the One Punch Man at all. I was happy to open it, but nobody bought any of that. Although, I still consider it a happy memory. In that case, how about we look for something nice and old to spark some more of those memories? Yeah, they're cool. Like, look, if I was just trying to make money, I would be approaching card stuff so differently. It's nice when I make money, don't get me wrong. Yes and no. It depends on what you're looking for, Sora. Like, yes, if you want a collector's pack, hard agree with you. No, I will in no way dispute that fact. Hold on. But the boxes are dropping even for Final Fantasy. They're getting a reprint, so the regular boxes are going to drop back down to a reasonable price. And there's still so much stuff that has come out in the past year or two that is overly, like, price reasonable. Duskmourn is still very reasonable, and the cards are very high value and used and thematic to hell. Aether Drift is a little less valuable hits, but it has a ton of playable cards and is dirt cheap. You can get a box of Aether Drift for almost nothing compared to other cards. There really is still plenty of Magic that's not expensive. Hell, Spider-Man ain't worth jack. You can open as much Spider-Man as you want. You won't get a hit unless it's a Soul Stone, but like, the packs, the boxes are not crazy expensive. Again, we're ignoring collector's packs. Those are a different thing. Those are all overpriced, and I agree on that. Those used to be, collector's packs used to be a nice little, ooh, I have a few extra bucks, I can treat myself. Now it's like, no, you have to be a collector for those. Those are an exception for sure. But the regular Magic cards really aren't that crazy. I don't think Spider-Man was unfun to play. But yes, most of the Spider-Man cards are not going to see their way into a standard deck at all, other than the Soul Stone. In a vacuum, when played against itself, I think it's a very fun set. It was fun to draft, and I had a good time. But it didn't have the power level of something of Final Fantasy, or even the upcoming Avatar, which have cards that are going to be meta cards. So, you know, yeah. I agree. Well, the Spider-Man set is also smaller. It was originally supposed to be one of those, like, way smaller sets like the Assassin's Creed one, where it wasn't a mainline set. Excuse me. Oh, I've already seen... there's a few cards from Avatar that are going to be popular. I definitely think the walls of Ba Sing Se are going to be huge. It's an O30 wall that makes all other creatures you control indestructible. Mind you, it's not indestructible, and you can still kill it. Anything that says kill, exile, destroy gets rid of it, but it's not susceptible to, like, I don't know, a lightning bolt or anything. You'd need 10 lightning bolts to kill it. But people are losing their mind because people have to complain about something. It's the law. Mind you, it'll definitely have a great place in... There are some... there's a lot of, like, tree folk decks way back when. Tree folk have big butts, as we would say. They're like, very defensive heavy creatures. They might be like a 1/5 or like a 2/10 or something. And they usually have ways to assign combat damage based on their toughness instead of their power, which would turn that wall into a 30/30 defender, and now all of a sudden, it still can't swing, but anything swinging into it's gonna bounce off dead. So, you know. Yes, let's. But the same reason people freaked out when they saw Jumbo Cactuar the first time, and it ended up being not even a meta card whatsoever. People just like to lose their mind about things. It's just how it goes. Can't believe the sun's already set. Why can't there be more time in one day? Yeah, no kidding. Your parents will probably be worried if you're out much longer. Let me walk you to the station. I haven't looked at all the cards, but I'll have to take a look at that one. Yeah, how dare you have a middle opinion on anything? Everyone must be extreme. Giselle, give me 3 seconds. That's her phone. I presume she's calling home. Ah, hey, Mom? I'm out with a couple friends, and you'll never guess what happened. We ran into a few girls I haven't seen since high school. Lying to the parents. going to be staying the night at one of their houses so we can catch up. I'll be back sometime tomorrow. Yep, I've got everything. See ya. Well, you heard me. Are you sure about this? And do you lie to your mother like that all the time? Just haven't told her I have a boyfriend yet, and I don't have time to have that conversation with her tonight. Unless you don't want there to be a tonight. I didn't think you were the lying type. I can be a bad girl when I feel like it. Oh my.
Huge boobs.
Right before their impromptu night together. She believed me without a second thought because I'm normally so well behaved. I've never given her a reason not to trust me. And you're sure about this? Would you rather I go home? I never said that. Just, we have plenty of time ahead of us. There's no need to rush anything. I've tried to hide it and probably not done the best job of it, but I've been over the moon all day today. And who wouldn't be? Finally reunited with the man I spent an eternity waiting for. And today's the first day I get to spend any real time with him. It might seem like we have all the time in the world, but you never know what might be awaiting around the corner. We've both experienced that reality firsthand. Are you not as excited as me, Mikhail? Have I been getting myself worked up over this all by myself like an idiot? Was I alone in thinking this would be the most important day of my life? No, of course not. When I saw you last week, the last thing I wanted to do was let you go home. I wanted to carry you back with me right then and there. But I didn't want to put you in a position where I was forcing you to uproot your own life, possibly getting in the way of your education. If any time called for a little pushiness, that was it. Yes, this was just an ordinary date, but it's a miracle it ever happened. I'm sorry. I want to spend as much time with you as I can, Giselle. Will you stay with me? Absolutely. Oh, there's another thing that's changed about you, Mikhail. You learned some basic social skills, like reading between the lines. You act like I wouldn't have been able to figure out what you wanted me to say back then. Okay, you're right. I probably wouldn't have. I didn't think you'd concede that one. Anyway, what now? We find a restaurant and have supper. Remember what I said about being pushy? Now's the time. What? Meaning, you're going to make me spell it out for you? I want you to, take me to your... of course. I'd love to take you back to my... crap. Still a complete mess. But if I bring her to a hotel, it'll look like that's all I'm in it for. Just need to ask her to wait a little bit to buy enough time to at least make it look like a tornado didn't just pass through. Mikhail? Oh, let me guess. Your place isn't presentable? Well, that might be putting it lightly. How many naughty posters do you have? Not a one. What about blow-up dolls? Even fewer. What do you think I am? You don't need to hide anything from me, Mikhail. No matter how strange your fetishes are, I promise I won't judge you. Giselle doesn't kink shame. I love the old Mikhail, and I love the new Mikhail all as one. Did not expect my declaration of love in the park to be turned around on me quite like this. I swear, there's nothing weird about my place. It's just not clean. I've just been so busy with work lately, I haven't had a chance to clean, so it's a bit of a wreck. Oh, psh. Well, if that's all it is, I'll gladly help you make it sparkle. No, I'm not bringing you over to have you clean for me. Please, give me maybe 30 minutes. You can... Nope. What? Not spending 30 minutes, even 30 seconds, away from you, just because your place is a little messy. It won't be long, I swear. No doesn't mean not long. It means no. I lied to my mom so I could have this time with you. And think about it. Wouldn't it be better for both of us if I could see you as you are, not how you want to look for me? Help pave the way for our future. She's going to have me under her thumb for the rest of her life, isn't she? Yes. 1,000,000% yes. And you're going to love 95% of it. And she's going to love the other 5% even more. Off we go then. First, some groceries, then back to your place. Off we go. And here we... Said I wouldn't judge you. I don't think I can keep that promise. That's exactly what he's trying to avoid. But I tell you. Alright, time to roll up our sleeves and make this place shine.
He might actually be dead.
Oh, you know, this kind of reminds me of 1,000 years ago. Here's hoping I don't suffocate in a cloud of dust this time. Phew. See, that didn't take too long between the two of us. I apologize for making it take any of your time. Oh, don't be, really. I'm mostly glad it didn't turn out to be a bunch of gross rotting food. Swarming with bugs would be a bridge too far, I think. Yeah, I will fully admit, I can be a bit messy. A lot of times, the floor is a shelf, but I can't do food garbage. Like, I can't. Clothes? Sure. Backpacks? Definitely. But I can't do food garbage. I just can't. That's why, last summer, there was, like, a bunch of ants kept getting into my room, and a lot of ants, and I was like, why? I don't get it. There's no food in here. I really do try to keep it as, like, food clean as I possibly can, because I hate it. It turns out they were coming from a crack in the wall, and I just hit it with a little bit of the, what's it called, diatonomous earth. Solves the problem. Still don't know why they were coming in, but found where they were coming from and stopped it. But, like, yeah, I don't like bugs in the room. And, like, if they come in because it's just, like, there's a bug and it's around, I still don't like it. But if I've done it because I've left stuff around, it's like I have no one to blame but me. Yeah, I mean, I tend to... My room may not be overly presentable, but to be fair, I have been in this room for almost 1.5 years now. And other than roommates speaking their heads in, nobody has come over to hang out in this room or anything. I have no real, like, and it's not because the room's a mess. I could clean it up, but I don't really have an incentive to do so. And it's not so messy that it's inconvenient, so whatever. I can tell you've been busy from all the thick books and stacks of papers. Thin reference manuals or document stacks are a rarity. Yeah. Try to keep as much of it digitally as I can, but a lot of these papers and reports aren't available in any other format. You're a systems engineer, was it? That's right. I was working at a company until a few years back, but I've been keeping steady work as a contractor lately. Wow. I'm amazed. The Mikhail I knew would cower at the sound of the word work, and could hardly have survived for 3 days on his own. You know, before I found you, I assumed you'd be a noble like last time. So you assumed I was this helpless shut-in. And boy, am I glad you didn't turn out to be King Neat again. Glad to have not disappointed you. Also kind of suspected you ended up making video games. Hardly even play games. What gave you that idea? I'm not sure. Visions of a parallel universe, perhaps? Not even going to ask. What about you? Do you have a dream job, Giselle? I want to open a shop. Maybe it's because I came from a merchant family in my last life, but I've always been interested in running some kind of store. We've been majoring in economics. Huh, I like that idea. If I do manage to get something up and running, I hope you'll help out. Absolutely. I'll do anything I can if it leads to a brighter future for you. Okay, well, I'm going to borrow your kitchen for a bit. Real question. At this point, which of them has longer hair? It both goes off camera, so I really can't tell. I want to say she's got him beat slightly, but he's also starting higher. Like, he's taller. Yeah, it definitely looks like hers, but if we shifted her up to be the same height, would it still be? I don't know. Oh, well, I'm going to borrow your kitchen for a bit. Is there anything I can help with? You made lunch too, so I'd feel awful doing nothing. Last I checked, you and cooking were a dangerous mix. Look, last you checked was 1,000 years ago. Things change, okay? It is crazy to keep hair like that maintained, yeah. The longest I ever had was like mid-back, and that just got in my way. That is one of the reasons I have an affinity for wearing hats, is it just keeps my hair out of my face. I also just enjoy hats. It's just another thing to have and like have variety on. But like I originally started wearing hats to keep hair out of my eyes. Still works. When you got long hair and it's windy out, you gotta do something. I like to think my taste buds are a little more refined this time around. Hopefully. In that case, I think I'll have you chop the veggies. But I'm the one who puts everything together, okay? She doesn't believe me. I'm stuffed. It was wonderful, thank you. It was wonderful, thank you. Watching you work is like watching someone perform magic. What? Was I doing something funny you didn't tell me about? No, that's not what I meant. Just the way you managed to make everything so perfect without even looking at a recipe. Excuse me. You know, cooking is kind of a hobby of mine. I lost a bit of preparation time to cleaning, so I couldn't make everything I wanted to. Next time, I'll make you something real fancy, though. Like a roast chicken. Let's save that one for Christmas. Don't think when we have it makes the sight of it just the two of us sitting on a large roast chicken any less ludicrous, though. Oh, yes. Shall we open the wine now? Gasp! So you only brought me home so you could get me drunk and have your way with me? Just kidding. Only consensually. Oh my. What? I'm joking. Let's have some wine, shall we? Never said I wasn't okay with it. Yeah, he occasionally gets to toss one back at her, and she's speechless once in a while. This is still a ways out, but I thought I would mention I'm going to be moving sometime next year. Oh, but this is a perfectly fine apartment. I mentioned my parents lived in the suburbs, a little ways from here, right? Well, they're planning to buy a new house soon, so I'll be taking over their old place. No point in letting it sit unused, I figure. Wow, you're moving into a large house that your family once owned, but is empty? Huh. Wow. Is your family rich then? Not extravagantly wealthy or anything, but reasonably well off. Looks like nobility runs in your blood after all. That's the literal definition, yes, but I don't think that's how it works. Anyway, it's bigger than here. So I was hoping you could come join me once things settle down at school. Really just not slowing down on that first date. Like, I get it. It's a first date, but like... You're asking me to move in with you? I am. Absolutely, I'd love to. In fact, I was planning to start bringing stuff over here soon anyway. Like, yeah, exactly. It's... When viewed as they're in their current lives, it's like, this is insanity. But, like, knowing what we know, it's like, this is actually long overdue. Didn't think you'd be the one to ask me. I figure it doesn't hurt to be pushy every now and then. Oh, I'm so excited. Let me know when you have a date. I'll help with the move. Certainly. Quite looking forward to it as well. Thank you for letting me use your shower, Mikhail. And your clothes. No problem, although they are rather big on you. A little tight around the chest. This is a 1,000-year slow burn. This was a 30-hour therapy session with an underlying 1,000-year slow burn. This was a 30-hour therapy session that both showed the right way to do things and the wrong way to do things, with a 1,000-year slow burn underneath it, and then a epilogue of just, hey, did you want to know every depressing detail of what happened? Because we skipped a few depressing details. We can tell you all the depressing details. My heart is kind of starting to race now. In a different house, wearing different clothes, with a different smell. I'm pretty sure that's clean. Should I get you something else? Yeah, true. No, they don't smell. They smell like you, which makes me smile. Oh God, what am I saying? Oh, I forgot to mention, I only have one bed. The perfect number. What, you thought... Were you going to sleep on the couch? Right this way. After you. Hey, Mikhail? Are you nervous? Not at all, he lied lyingly. We've slept together before in the past. Oh yeah, I suppose we have. This time feels different. My heart's pounding like crazy. I take it back. I'm nervous too. Hey, can we hold hands? Just gonna, you know, just gonna, real quick, damn it, where is the actual Elgato? Oh, there it is. Bonk! Just, you know, just for safety. Kidding, I'm kidding. Sure. I want you to know I'm the happiest girl in the world right now. So happy I'm scared I'll wake up and it will all be a dream, or tomorrow will come and it'll all be torn away from me. Thought I was supposed to be the worrywart, and you the eternal optimist. Normally, you have nothing to fear. I will never let go of this hand again. No vanishing on me or pushing me away or anything like that, okay? I promise. Let's make this happiness into something that lasts forever. You and me, together. No getting bored of me once I'm over the hill either. I would never. Besides, I'll be making it there well ahead of you. I expect you to grow up to be the classiest 40-something in town, and don't you forget it. About the Endwalker. True, I might have to. Do I even have that over here still? I don't. I'd have to actually add it again. I just deleted it.
Why? Why did you do that?
We'll be fine. I'm sure nothing will happen. Let's be honest. We've seen some stuff already.
I should have been the one to fill your dark soul with light.
I'll try not to disappoint you. Hey, Mikhail? I love you. More than anything in the world. Thank you so much for finding me in this life. And thank you for waiting so long and never giving up. Both in this life and the last. Giselle, love you too. Good night, Mikhail. Yeah, I mean, look, if they do, all the better for them, because they clearly have actually gotten past their hang-ups from previously. I'm assuming Mikhail has a fully male body now, though we don't know. And clearly she doesn't have the touch aversion of her previous life. So I hope they do, for their own sakes, if they want to, but, you know, I don't think we're going to get explicit views of anything. Wake up. Wake up, Mikhail. I mean, they fell asleep holding hands. We're already towing the line. Ah, so bright. Thought I shut the curtains. Morning, sleepyhead. Giselle. Good morning. Ah, wait, forget that. Do over. Good morning, Master. I hope you slept well. Can say without a doubt, I've never slept better nor awoken to a more pleasant sight in my entire life. And so their happy ending continues on. I believe I'm on the second floor. Ah yes, there it is. But I need my key to get in. The landlord should be able to help me with that. He lives upstairs, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my, why hello there. Are you our new neighbor? Yes, I moved in today. Were you not told where to find your key? It was a rather sudden move, so perhaps it was missed in the confusion. Oh, is that so? Well, your key's right here, darling, in the back of your mailbox door. Here you are. Thank you. You don't smile much, do you, darling? It's a real shame. You're very pretty. Just never been very good at it. Practice makes perfect. Thank you for your assistance. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Good day. Oh, why thank you too, darling. Well, I should go. Before you go, make sure to stop by and say hi to the landlord. I assumed you were... Oh, heavens, no, I live on the 3rd floor. The landlord's one level up on the very top floor. My apologies for the confusion. It's the weekend, so he should be home. He recently took over for his parents, and my oh my, he's the prettiest young man I've ever seen. Not sure how a man would take to being called pretty, but I'll be damned if there's a better word to describe him. If I were another 30 years younger, I might have tried to go after him myself. You can't be what, 15, 16 years old, still in high school and already living on your own. You're moving fast, darling. Are your parents... I have a lot to unpack, so I really should get going. Oh dear, so sorry for keeping you. If you need anything, just give me a shout, okay? Or the landlord. I'm sure he'll be happy to help too. It was a pleasure meeting you, darling. You too, ma'am. She's a bit overwhelming. I hope the landlord isn't quite so boisterous. She said he was a pretty young man. Well, I should at least say hello. I'll leave my bags inside and unpack when I'm done. Oh, a butterfly. How did you get in here? It's moving kind of sluggishly. Don't worry, I'll get you back outside where you belong. Take care. This is the place. Not looking forward to this. Too many new people in one day. Coming. I'll be just a second. A woman's voice, but the landlord's a man, isn't he? Maybe his sister or wife? I'll get it. Wait, that voice. Probably the new girl. We should both go out to greet her. Ah, yep, you're right. It's our new neighbor. It's a pleasure to have you, and... we meet again. Yeah, I mean... good. See you again. A glimpse of joy. That one was really short. Well, we may as well see what fragment is. You have to have beaten all these, or gone through all these first. I'm going to start up fragment. I may end up ending early tonight anyway, just because the cough is annoying as hell. But this is way too early, so... I want to see the... or we could hit that. Sure, why not? Sure, we'll see the other movies. I mean, it might not, I don't know. That one was the shortest of all of them so far. But we can definitely see the other movie options. Same, but it didn't need to be longer. It did what it did. It did what it needed to do. Alright, so we saw Naughty and Animated. Let's just go bottom up from there at this rate. Horror. The other one I think he's super unlikely to pick. How about this one? Ah, that looks pretty scary. Hope there aren't too many jump scares. If you're not a fan of horror, we can see something else. Oh no, I'm fine with the movie. I'm curious how it'll turn out, even if it does look creepy. Look at how much they packed into the poster. Makes you want to know how all the pieces come together. It's precisely why I chose this one, in fact. This part in particular, with the mansion draped in fog. That does... I'm hoping we can suss out what movie it is, but that doesn't help. I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. The similarity is probably coincidental. Oh, and did you read the tagline? Death shall befall all ye who set foot in this house. Yeah, again, doesn't narrow it down at all. At this point, I think they're just making a joke that it's clearly their past life at this rate. It might be hitting a little too close to home. Luigi's Mansion. Oh, man. Honestly, I reinstalled Luigi's Mansion 3 on my Switch 2, since I was adding games to it. I might just play through that again. I know it's a little after October, but game's just fun. Monster House. Ah, maybe. I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. Like you said, it's probably a coincidence. That said, I'm even more interested in seeing it now, but for other reasons. Ah, nifty. The first one was good. The second one was pretty good, and the third one was really good in my opinion. Like that's how but I haven't revisited 1 and 2 since playing them, so, or 3 for that matter. But indeed. All right. Well, I'll go get the tickets. I won't be too long. I'm coming with you, and I'd at least like to pay for. No, please allow me, if you would. Okay. I thank you. Yeah, for something that was like an hour and a half long, with all the tangents, they crammed a lot of like portraits into it, with a lot of powerful emotions. Oh my god, that scared me silly. The part where the maid's face appeared out of nowhere in the hall about made me jump out of my seat. Same here. And then it turns out she's the real heroine? Holy wow, that was something. Did somebody just make the game? Yeah, 312. Agreed. The 2 still isn't bad, but it was more meant for portability. The structure was inherently different, and I definitely preferred the here's a whole mansion to Metroidvania unlock than the structure of 2. 2 wasn't bad. It was a very enjoyable DS game, but it didn't hit the same highs as the others. I might cry again just thinking about that ending. Yeah, that's the mildly self-referential here. I have to say, that wasn't scary at all. No, not really. Felt like I knew everything that was going to happen. Surely it's just a coincidence, right? Probably. It wasn't exactly the same. There are hundreds of horror movies set in old mansions. Yeah, that's gotta be it. I need to remember to look up the movie's staff. It's a long shot, but maybe someone we know was involved. Though, even setting that aside, it wasn't a particularly scary movie. I don't think movies about ghosts will ever be able to scare me. Oh, and why's that? Because I kind of know what it's like, maybe? Good point. I think I would be more sad for them than scared, honestly. There's a lot more of this remembering your past life thing than I expected. I'll say. Anyway, what's next on the schedule? Okay. Not what I expected from that one, but not bad. George is the director? Maybe, yeah. As an artist, that checks out. Alright. I was going bottom up. Should we save romance for last, though? I think I'm going to save romance for last. How about this one? Ooh, I've heard this movie is non-stop action from start to finish. People can't get enough of it. They're coming back to see it again and again. I'm excited to see what all this fuss is about. Are you a big fan of action movies? I wouldn't say I'm a big fan, but I watch them from time to time. If one's showing on TV, I won't change the channel, so I've probably seen most of the big names at least. Well, I'm glad to hear you don't hate them at least. Women don't tend to be very fond of action movies. Now, Mikhail, that's just being sexist. Girls don't only watch mushy romance movies, you know. Anyone can enjoy any kind of movie. Action, mystery, suspense, horror, pornography. Your gender doesn't determine your tastes. You're right. I apologize. I think of one blonde-haired Italian woman with a peculiar taste for guns and sharp objects who makes a perfect counterexample. What about you? Are you a big action movie buff? I enjoy them, yes. So there's a surprise. I assumed you'd be more into literary or mystery stuff. Is that how I come off? How I imagined you? Always satisfying to watch a strong character in action. And sometimes, I wish I could be like them. So what you're saying is you want to be all big and beefy? I'd never deny that. Anyway, I wouldn't call myself an action movie buff. I enjoy watching them, but not any more than your average guy. And there are some kinds I have trouble with. Such as? Anything involving crusaders. Yeah, not many people our age claim to be traumatized by history. I still watch the movies, I'm just not particularly fond of them, so I don't worry about it too much. Alright, well, I'll go get the tickets. I won't be too long. Coming with you. No, please. Okay. That was amazing! Cars zooming through the desert, non-stop explosions, badass ladies, a flame-throwing guitar. Oh, we know exactly what movie that is. Agreed. Great movie. I have a need for speed right now. I think I've taken more screenshots of this chapter than most of the main game. Whoa, slow down, Giselle. It was an impressive movie, I'll give you that, but what are you going to do? I'm buying a motorcycle. Do you even have a license? Who needs one when you can feel the speed? You're going to hurt yourself. Fine, then I'll get a guitar and have it customized. You're going to hurt someone else. I can at least get my head. Can I at least get my head shaved? Please, for the love of God, no. Imagine Giselle just running out there. Witness me. Finally, you've settled down. Sorry, I'm okay now. Movie just dug its claws so deep into me I couldn't get them out even after it was over. What a terrifying film. More terrified by what it turned you into. For a moment, I was sure you were actually going to shave your head. I can be influenced pretty easily by movies and stuff. But don't think I get like that after every action movie. I would advise you never watch one again if you did. Don't worry, though. I'm back to my calm and tranquil self now. I like the concept of just a hyped-up Giselle. We really don't get to see that until now. Question whether those words are ever appropriate to describe you, but nonetheless, I'm glad to see you're back to normal. I don't think I've ever seen such an exhausting movie before. I feel like I spent 2 solid hours sprinting. So what's next on the agenda? A wrestling show, perhaps? So much for having calmed down. Huh. Okay. Well, one more. I thought the naughty one would be the funniest one, but honestly, the action and animation have carried this pretty far. Let's see what romance does. Horror was fitting, but action and animated were the best so far. How about this one? Ooh, the poster, the title. Everything about it oozes sappy romance. This was the last movie I would have expected you to pick, Mikhail. Is this something you actually want to watch? You didn't just choose it for me, right? I have no particular objections to this movie, although I'm not especially interested in either. Oh, I know. You just want to see the lead actress naked. Look, it's not crossed the mind. I beg your pardon. I mean, it is a romance movie, and that is an important part of romance. Maybe so, but I don't appreciate you making it sound like I'm just a horny teenage boy. Well, if that's not why you chose it, I'm stumped. What kind of person does she think I am? I simply thought it would be more appropriate for a date than, say, a horror film or a thriller. And crucially, it's the kind of movie I can only watch with you. Ah, yeah. The audience does tend to be groups of women or couples. It'd be pretty awkward going alone, huh? That's not what I meant at all. I was just concerned with helping set the mood. But whatever, I suppose. Well, you can rest easy today, Mikhail. Now you get to be the guy everyone's jealous of, walking into a sappy chick flick with a pretty girl on your arm. You can stop cursing every other couple you walk past now. Why are you acting like I'm some kind of sad, lonely loser? You should look the part. Alright, well, I'll go get the tickets. It won't be too long. I'm with you. No, please. Okay. Ah, that was wonderful. I can't stop thinking about the ending when they finally got together. I cried all the way through the credits and then some. I'm impressed with how well you held yourself together, Mikhail. Well, you know. It wasn't so much a matter of me holding myself together as me being so focused on her I hardly paid attention to the movie. I spent the whole time thinking about how maybe I should try to hold her hand or something. I have no idea what the movie was even about, and I didn't even manage to do that. I'm hopeless. Mikhail? Oh, yeah, right. It was a wonderful movie. It was. So tell me, what was your favorite scene, Mikhail? What? What was yours, Giselle? It's a tough choice, but I'd have to go with the part where the girl's about to fall into a pit of lava and the guy risks death to save her. What kind of movie was that? Ah, yeah, I agree. That part had me on the edge of my seat. You don't remember a thing about the movie, do you, Mikhail? Huh? Why on earth would there be any lava pits? I swear, you were distracted the whole time. Sorry. I was right, wasn't I? You don't like romance movies very much. I wanted you to pick something you would like, not force yourself to sit through something just for me. Not that I don't like them, just... Next time we'll see something more to your taste. Maybe a movie about a serial killer that targets couples. Why do you think I have some kind of grudge against couples? I mean, you look the part. I probably deserved that, but still. Alright, yeah, no, it's action, animated, animation, everything else. Yeah, it was fine, but I'm glad we went with what we did. Alright. Naughty was good, yeah. So, what's on the agenda for the day? What I want to do? There isn't anything in particular. Don't give me that look. I don't know what people do for recreation because unlike someone, I didn't live a life of leisure and luxury. Yes, that's right. I'm a dreadfully boring person. I imagine you've begun to regret bringing such a dull girl with you. Oh, we get a choice now? Oh, well, not really, but okay. Alright, 1 second though. Stupid nose. Not in the slightest. If you say so. You choose what we're doing today, alright? Huh? You want me to sing? I don't mind. What are you laughing about? Yeah, this is... Oh, absolutely. The whole postgame has been good, but this is by far the best song of the postgame. I still don't know if it beats CCO for me overall, but it's really good. I don't have this on my work playlist yet, but I do need to find this one. I'm pretty sure Spotify does have all of the soundtrack. I just didn't look for this one yet, because we weren't done with it yet. You didn't think I would agree? Okay, fine. I won't sing. Puppy Dog Eyes won't change my mind either. That's that. I'm not going to sing. Alone, that is. Yes, you're singing with me. Go find someone who has a lute and ask to borrow it.
Yeah?
You don't get a say in the matter. You did ask to borrow that, right? And got permission? None of the shenanigans you pulled at the festival. We need to remain on good terms with everyone if we're going to live here. Well, good. I'm glad you could manage that much. At some point, if we're going to do this again, you should purchase your own, so you don't have to borrow one. It would certainly make things simpler, wouldn't it? Next time a merchant is in town, if they're selling a lute, buy it. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. As long as it has strings capable of making music, that's adequate. And if it's out of tune, you can tune it. You can at least manage that, can't you? It's exactly how you described it all those many years ago. Fields of wheat as far as the eye can see, swaying back and forth like waves in an ocean of gold. I'd assume that after all this time, you'd have lost your fondness for such rustic scenery, that you preferred bustling cities, heavily guarded fortresses, and merchants peddling unusual wares. But it seems I was wrong. Thankfully. Huh? Yes, I'm quite fond of areas like this. They're pleasant and relaxing. I wonder if this really is where my real father came from. Never told you this, but in my village I was revered as a saint, worshipped as the daughter of God. To this day, a part of me still sees myself as such. Yeah, seems like it. I mean, just the fact that she's not scarred already kinda... You're just an ordinary girl. Maybe so. You said as much so many times now, I'm almost beginning to believe it. That is entirely on you, yes. And if I truly am, then I have a father somewhere. One night I overheard my mother muttering something. At the time I assumed it was just a dream, but if what she said was true, my father was a mere vagrant. A man whose face I never once saw, whose name I never heard. Would you like to meet him? Excuse me, frankly, I'm not sure. I wouldn't know what to say even if I did. He might not even know I exist. Didn't sound like he had any interest in staying with my mother, which does not speak particularly well of his character. Yeah, true. If he had chosen to stay instead of abandoning her, then she wouldn't have had to lie about having a virgin birth. Maybe we could have even become a normal family. And the entire course of my life could have been different. What? Why is that your first reaction? You're not going to hunt him down and give him a piece of your mind. No. Any form of violence is forbidden. Not even if it's for my sake. Too many people have been hurt already. Which isn't to say I don't understand what you meant. You said the world would trample all over you if you didn't have the strength to fight back. As children, we were both helpless to fight back against a cruel world. But I stand by what I said. No more. I once believed you to be a weak man, but I've realized I was mistaken. I now know you have more than enough strength, enough to take the lives of countless men. Some part of me always knew. But that's all the more reason. I don't want you to hurt anyone else, ever again. To take any more lives. Alright, I won't. You swear it? I will have no choice but to deem you utterly irredeemable if you break that promise, understood? What? No, that doesn't mean I think you presently have redeeming qualities. Have you lost your mind? Honestly, this is not the time for silly do you like me games. Don't tell me you're waiting for an answer, because you're never getting one. What? Fine, if you want to know what I think so badly. No, I don't much care for you. Oh yes, so I was wondering. It's good to know that the soon was not part of her terrible upbringing. It was not the world breaking her that made her tsundere. It's a core part. Oh yes, so I was wondering. Other towns celebrate midsummer as well, yes? I see, so it's a fairly standard summertime tradition. Huh? If you asked me to go, I would not object. What? Yes, I'm not particularly fond of the commotion, but it's a unique experience. There were no such festivals in the village where I was born. It was so small, there was little in the way of entertainment to speak of. Perhaps I was their entertainment. Real saint appearing would indeed be cause for celebration. Life in the Lord's custody was miserable. I'm not sure it would have been much different had I stayed. Maybe getting out was ultimately better for me. So clearly there's some overlap with the known timeline in this, but enough different to not have her be scarred and broken. It's hardly all good times by any stretch of the imagination, but it did allow me to experience a more normal world. Oh, there you go again. I've long since tired of hearing you go on about ambitions. Yes, I know. My definition of normal is too impoverished for you. I've heard it 12 times now. But this is what I know. So climb down off your high horse and adjust. I'm not so accommodating a girl as to unconditionally support you in your endless endeavors to climb up and up and up and up. In fact, I intend to kick you back down anytime you start trying. Which is, let's be honest, exactly what he needed. That is the exact thing he needed more than anything, was someone to be like, stop it. Stop it. So keep yourself in check. I used to think I didn't have any right to interfere with your dreams, but now I'll be doing everything in my power to stand in your way. Keep that in mind. Then I'll just have to find a new dream. Excuse me? So you're going to look for a different way to be a fool then? Look, I don't know how much of it's tsundere and how much of it's just she's right.
He might actually be dead.
Did you hear a single word I said? Every single one, yes. Why do I even bother? So what madness is brewing in that hollow skull of yours now? I'm going to win your heart. Good way to make her speechless, yeah. That was even worse than I imagined. You're possibly the world's biggest fool. What is it now? You want me to call you by your name? Why would I waste my breath? Listen to how many times I'm saying your name. You're not yourself today. You're never so forward. It's not right. Perhaps you ate something moldy. Besides, your name is just another word. It's nothing to get so worked up about. What are you, a child? Disappointed I'm not what you thought? Never said that. I'm not going to call you by your name, understood? For heaven's sake. Let's change the subject. The way you're silently staring at me is making my skin crawl. So, the lute. I'd like you to teach me how to play the lute. Why? Is there something wrong with me wanting to know how to play? Suppose it is unusual, perhaps. Never had a chance to learn much of anything, though. I know little of how people normally entertain themselves, so I want you to catch me up on what I missed. Don't get upset if I'm a slow study. You do have an impossibly short fuse, after all. Hot kettle, just, you know. Something else. Let's see. You know how to fish, don't you? Damn it. Alright, Morgana, best girl.
Fishing!
You'd go to the river sometimes, as I recall. We still don't know much about this area. Perhaps there are rivers and or lakes nearby. So, teach me how to do that
Fish!
too. Alright. Come on, don't just stare at me. Do you know any words other than okay? Good heavens. Will you say my name? You don't know when to give up, do you? Is it that important to you? Don't want you to forget. Don't want you to forget me again. Don't want you to forget what I look like. The sound of my voice. Or how I feel about you. I don't want you to forget what we talked about. What kind of man I was. Or all the time we shared together. Please, don't forget me. Why would you ask me that now? I was hoping to... If I had remembered, would anything have been any different? Could we have not ended up so far down the wrong path? If I had gone and found you, would that have stopped you from becoming what you did? Forget it. It's not worth thinking about. Can I hug you? Pardon? You don't need to ask for permission for every little thing. I've always been like that. Always asked permission or had me initiate any kind of physical contact, except when you'd put that ointment on my face, that is. So this isn't a what if, this is an after. This is a next life? Okay. Even that morning when you carried me home, you wouldn't just pick me up, you made me climb on your back. But it's clearly not quite modern day, it's still very much like older fashion, as I promised you I wouldn't touch you without permission. You actually kept that ancient promise for all those years. Oh yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to stop here. Is there no end to your stupidity? I swear. Someone needs to come up with a new word to describe you. Do as you please. Look at you, a grown man shaking like a fawn. Sometimes I can't tell if you have a heart of stone or of glass. Oh, it's definitely glass. Oh, it's glass. It's glass. But to be fair, I would say the same about her. She's painted it like a stone, but it is glass. Though I suppose I'm not terribly different in that regard. See, at least she's not... At least she can recognize it. Unable to even speak my heart unless there's no one else around. Unable to face you except through this childish fantasy. Not even able to show you any vulnerability. You once said, who knows how many years ago, that being this close has the effect of making us more open. Well, I despise you more than anything in this vast world. You showed me happiness, and then you showed me the depths of absolute despair. I have no idea what to do with you, so I didn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. What other choice did I have? And here you are, still lingering. After I released your soul. Oh, so this is... Okay. You went and put on a new set of shackles. What was even the point? Tell me, how many times have you tried to grasp at this illusion? How many times have you punished yourself? I suppose, if you want to think I'm just part of your illusion, I won't stop you. This whole realm is an impossibly idealistic fantasy. That's fine. It makes it easier for me to say this. I do regret some of what I did. That I misdirected my anger. Oh yes, I still revile you, of course. A glass of wine. Ah, yeah, no, that would be... That's more a goblet of wine, but I still, yeah. But even more so, I'm heartbroken. How did it all end up like that? So far gone, so irreversibly off the path. It was my words that ultimately pushed you over the edge, wasn't it? I want to make amends. I don't need your atonement. I told you already. It's all done. No curses, no forgiveness. Nothing more between us, ever again. Why then, why am I here, talking to you? It's foolish. We're hopeless fools, the both of us. But that's also very accurate. But it's not my fault. This realm, it's overflowing with so much warmth. Can't hold back everything I've kept locked away all those centuries. But in the end, I just feel wretched about it all. I would have rather never remembered. We spent our lives trying so hard to suppress those memories, fighting against our past, just as we're doing now. Alright, that's quite enough. Would you please let go of me now? Hello? I said let go. Let go of me. I love you. And I hate you. I'll never feel anything but hatred for you. There's nothing left in my heart but that. This is Simply me showing pity for a pathetic lost soul. I was never able to let go of you. Maybe you should have said so back then. Though I suppose you couldn't have. I had someone else to lead my way. All I could do was sit back and watch me go. All you could do was sit back and watch me go. You were never one who could cry in front of others or hold on to someone for support. You had to rely on this sad fantasy to bring yourself to hold me. There truly is no hope for you. So what now? Are you just going to stay here, all alone for the rest of eternity? Many, many ages ago, when I was still a child, I looked up to you. I might have even had some fondness for you. What? Perhaps so. Perhaps it would have been better if we had done this sooner. I want you to forget everything I've said. This is a realm where none of those terrible things ever happened, isn't it? So I'd like to indulge in this childish dream for a little while longer. Have you finally calmed down? Act smug all you want. I saw everything. I know good and well just how sad a man you truly are. Someone's waving to us in the distance. I'm still not particularly good with strangers, but the people in this land are all so kind. And you'll be holding my hand, won't you? Of course, let's go. Yes. Let us be all, Jacopo. Rather than showing you the world, one day, someday, I'd like to bring you somewhere where your body and spirit can rest. Not as atonement for my sins, but because I want to see it too. It's a very good CG, yeah. Alright. Oh, and it changes the background here. Alright. Wish that one was just slightly longer. I don't know whether to start Reincarnation tonight or save it so we can start it fresh. We've gone a few weeks without this, so I want to do more of it, but it just... my gut tells me it deserves to start at the start of a stream. Different perspective. Huh, okay. See, I was just going to go down the list, but good to know then. Do for reincarnation. Okay. Will do. I hate to say though, I think I will call it here for this one, but next week we'll do short stories and not reincarnation. Good to know. I don't know why they wouldn't flip it on the menu, but hey, whatever, cool. But as long as I know we'll have the right stuff. Yeah. Cool. I appreciate the heads up on that one. Probably wouldn't have been awful to do it the other way, but if there's an intended and best way, I'd like to do that. Full picture of these two. No more than. Okay, is it overly long? Are we talking something over like an hour or two? Or is it a bit like same length-ish? That's a good time to hydrate. About an hour? Alright. Yeah, let me take a swig, then we'll go. Nah, if we can get through the whole thing in like an hour or so, plus or minus however long it takes longer to read it, but you know. That sounds like a good duration. Alright. The vast majority of happenings in this world are not recorded in stories, either too trifling or adding no meaning to our lives. These facts of life are coldly cast aside with only the tiniest sliver deemed worthy enough. Each day we relentlessly discard unnecessary fragments of our lives, fragments forever lost to the ether, and we continue in the very moment of our death. It's a certainty of it as inevitable as death itself. Tales afforded not their moment in the limelight, left to waste away in obscurity. See, I knew they were going to fade that out. Oh. A trophy for that? Examined the short story archives. Okay. Damn, well, there's a few of them. Alright, well. American cheese lover detected? What? It's ramen. Alright. The maid spoke little of what happened after the white-haired girl's disappearance in the Era of Roses. But she believed the rest of the tale insignificant, of no value to share with her listener, the white-haired girl herself. Thus, her role as storyteller ended with the girl's departure from the stage, and while the other characters' stories continued on, they were cut from the script, afforded not their moment in the limelight, left to waste away in obscurity. A slow-killing poison. Arthur Baldwin was vexed. Shortly before they were to be married, his engagement with Nellie Rhodes, eldest daughter of the Rhodes family, had been broken off. He understood well enough why it had happened, and it had been his decision. And had it been his decision, he likely would have made the same one. So Arthur's dissatisfaction lay not with the dissolution itself, nor did he bear any fault in it. His bride-to-be had simply been gripped by madness. Yeah, you could say that. I hear she attacked an Abigail. Oh, I was told she took one of her eyes out. Even worse, she killed her. Those are but rumors, my dears. The truth is so much more dreadful. I used to work at the Rhodes Manor, you see. The young lady, she... Initially, Arthur was skeptical of what people were saying. He assumed the tales were being exaggerated as they spread. Alright, cool. But when the heads of the Rhodes family came personally to deliver reparations and formally nullify the engagement, he gave Arthur a rough overview of what had happened. It was apparently true that Nellie had assaulted an Abigail, and it was true that she spent most of her time in her room now, looking pale and sickly and drained of her spirits. And then, when he said outright, "A demon's possessed her," Arthur had little choice but to believe something wasn't right. And to top it all off, Nellie's older brother Mel ran off to become a priest, presumably to get away from everything. Nellie's father implored Arthur to remain discreet about her situation, not that he had any intention of going around and spreading personal details about her life. Well, that's up to you. Yeah, no, I'm reading what you're saying. I got you. Oh. The Revenant Stream, not that one. Okay, I was reading what you're saying, but I missed that bit. My bad. Well, committed to this one right now, but I'll hit that one. Or hold on. If that's the one that's specifically related, I'll save this here, and we'll go nab that one. Sorry, I was reading what you're saying. It scrolled up faster and I missed a bit. So we'll do that. No, not load. Yeah, like main menu. Short stories. And it was the Revenant Stream. Okay. Farewell, Jacopo, until our souls cross paths once more in this boundless sphere of fate. And goodbye, Morgana. She believed that was the end of it all, that by releasing their souls from the curse they would all return to their rightful places, that the realm containing the cursed mansion would dissipate and the natural order of the world would take care of the rest. Both she and the good-hearted young man who had guided her to her salvation believed that. But the young man underestimated how strong his love was, and the girl underestimated how wholly and thoroughly he blamed himself. He sent her off and then remained in place. He could not forgive himself for what he had done, and so he did not deserve to move on. The Revenant's dream. The next thing she realized, she was in a field of gold, wheat rolling in the wind like a golden ocean, the sky blue as sapphire, the breeze almost startlingly warm. It was an unbelievably gentle view, and one she did not recognize. She had never seen this place before, never been there before, yet looking out at it now, she felt emotional. It was almost terrifyingly beautiful, and as if drawn in by it, the girl took a step forward. With each subsequent step, the soft sound of crunching beneath her feet grew more distinct. Evidently, her soul had begun taking physical form, and it was her body from life that the golden ocean created for her. She raised her left arm, which had been severed before she was placed in captivity. It was whole. Still uncertain, she placed a hand on her cheek. There she found none of the scars or the rough texture of the markings that had caused her so much torment in life. What's going on here? She was perplexed. Where was this place? When was it? And what was she doing here? In that form, no less. The girl continued walking in spite of her consternation. In spite of herself, at that. It was the gentlest domains that had always caused her the most pain. Better late than never, I suppose. I hope you do finally get it. The most pleasant memories were the sharpest knives. If her life had taught her one thing, it was that, and from then on she had done everything in her power to eliminate those things, which is why she had locked the warmingly inviting master bedroom in the cursed mansion and threw the key into the painting. But now she was being drawn into another such realm. She felt as though she needed to push forward, and soon, as she approached the far edge of the wheat field, she caught sight of a figure. Seeing it, she stopped dead with a gulp. She knew what this world was. It was his world. Much like she had crafted her own realm to contain her curse, he too had built himself a world of illusion. Upon reaching this realization, a flood of images and memories rushed over her. Excuse me. But this was not unusual, as she had experienced projections of others' memories in the cursed mansion as well. The living and the dead perceived the world differently. While the living were bound by their bodies, the dead were bound by recollections and emotions. Nonetheless, it had been Mikhail, not her, who had dived into the memories directly, so this was her first time truly experiencing the phenomenon herself. Though she was uncertain as to whether the experience was intensified by her own involvement in these specific memories, they were of her as a child. The young man applying ointment to her face every day for 3 years. She would claim it unnecessary, insult him, complain in any way she could, but still the young man came back the next day. Even on days she fought to the point of truly angering him, he still applied the ointment. He was a strange man, she thought. What purpose did he pay her so much mind? No other men wanted to get near her. The hideous scars covering her face were quite an effective deterrent, and most would probably cut off their own hands before volunteering to touch them. He alone was different, though. One day he chastised her for making the trek to the graveyard every day, in rain or snow or anything in between. But she realized now that his criticism applied to him as well. In the pouring rain or the midst of a blizzard, in winds so strong that they could knock a grown man to the ground, or even when he was hurt or sick himself, he never missed a day coming to find her at the graveyard. Next she saw the rising sun, being carried on his back, traveling a different path home than the one she saw. The stench of decomposing flesh unavoidable in the alleys of the slums. Her surroundings utterly repugnant, yet the sunrise oddly enchanting. The sun's light even reaches this deep, dark corner of the world. I mean, of course it does, but I don't know. For some reason it seems particularly bright today. She said nothing in response, but she felt the same way. She had spent her whole life looking down at her feet, never taking the time to look up and appreciate the sky. And she likely never would have either. Never been able to see the beauty in the rising sun without a nudge. And subsequently, whenever the evil lord would show himself in her dreams, she was able to close her eyes and block him out, till eventually she was no longer able to remember his face or the sound of his voice. Her wounds were at least beginning to heal. He had given her so much. An ordinary life, an ordinary happiness, the freedom from having to be special. warmth she had never known before. Ah, those memories only served to salt her wounds. Every image of the slave boy showing her kindness was another crack in her foundation. I can't. He killed me. The same hands he had used to treat her wounds, he later took her life. It tainted all her memories, shattered the illusion of warmth, ruined her all the way down to her soul, turned everything into hatred and anger. A fury so intense that even the young saint's unconditional love was insufficient to assuage it. The only reason she had managed to maintain her composure at the very end was because Mikhail was there with her, holding her hand. She would not have gone to see him at all otherwise. But now she was alone, so she would leave. She had no interest in seeing that man again, and when she made to head back the way she had come, she caught a glance at the shadowy figure's condition. It was beaten and broken, crumbling away. She looked down in silence on the shadow which had barely maintained its own form. She had seen souls decay to the state before, such as Mikhail's when he arrived at the mansion after centuries lost, broken down and reformed again and again, with only Giselle's voice as his guide. By the time he found his way there, he was unrecognizable, hardly a wisp of a spirit, incapable of individual thought, blindly following Giselle's lead. She understood why Mikhail's soul had taken so much damage. He had been abused and mistreated to an unimaginable degree his entire life. It made sense that he would wish for an ending more permanent than even death. But him? What are you doing so broken? She could not understand what had brought him to this point. He was the perpetrator, a monster. No matter how kind he had been to her before, that did not change what he had done after that. So what did he think he was doing, looking so mangled and beaten? If she left him there, before long, his soul would disappear for good, rubbed out of existence, never to return to the boundless sphere of fate. Good. Let him. She bit her lip. Yes, let him. Then she would be free of his torture once and for all. She would never have to see him again, never have to torment herself with thoughts of him. And what a relief that would be. So she tried to turn back, but her body would not let her. An emotion she did not understand had welled up in her breast. It was pity, though she could not put a name to it herself. It was an emotion she had never felt during her time as the witch, and in fact, were the witch here, she would have cackled joyously at the sight, pointing a skeletal figure at the pathetic thing he had become and telling him how much he deserved it. But she was no longer that witch, and furthermore she had been blessed with unconditional love by Mikhail and Giselle. The benevolent portion of her soul, which she had rent from herself to create the white-haired girl, was beginning to return to its rightful place. She thought she heard a voice from within, telling her that only she could save him. She frowned. Why should she have to save him after all the pain and suffering he had caused for her? The voice within spoke. Mikhail had stepped forward to save her after all the pain and suffering she had put him through. Giselle, too, held no grudge after being imprisoned in the mansion by her for centuries, happily joining Mikhail on his quest. She took a single step forward. The wheat swayed as she did, making the scent even more dreamlike, or the scene. Initially, she had been irritated to find him here, trying to hide from his sins in this realm of illusion, but now she was beginning to realize that was not the case. His memories and feelings flowed over her with more clarity this time. This was what he could have had if he had not made all those mistakes. And this was the place he had hoped to show her one day. He was not hiding from his sins. He was attempting to atone for them. He had condemned his sins, lamented his failures, and forced himself to look at this vision of the world he had let slip through his fingers, again and again, until it had destroyed his soul. This was his punishment for himself, and not only for what he had done to Morgana, but her other half, the white-haired girl, as well. She had said in a letter that she wished to see his homeland, and he had failed to see that through as well. Twice he had broken what he was supposed to care about most. Twice he had crushed her, and he could never forgive himself for that, not even after she had released him from her curse. You truly are the biggest fool in all the world. She had never in all her time seen more of a disaster of a man. though she was beginning to realize that part of the reason he had done this to himself was because she had rejected his offer to make amends, told him she would not punish him any further. Not to mention, he was not entirely at fault for his actions in his second life. She had wished to see his life in ruins. She had, in a sense, placed him on that path herself. But he was not the one who could place the blame for his actions on others. Everything was always his responsibility and his alone. He was like that in his first life, and his second, and in the illusory, alternate scenario where Mikhail intervened. Ultimately, I am the one responsible, he said on their march to atonement. And I suppose, to make sure their next lives go a little better, he said, excluding himself from any potential redemption. So what though? It doesn't change what he did. Are you saying I should have sent him off with a smile? That I should have set aside my hatred to make the man who hurt me feel better? She took another step towards the amorphous shadow, still unsure of her own position. The closer she got, the more she wanted to run away. What would she say? What would she do? She had not an inkling of an idea. Not a single fully formed thought about what came after this. The shade noticed her, lifting its head. She tensed up. It was hideous, hardly even recognizable as human, but she could tell, somehow, that it was smiling at her. It must have been made up of all the things he had wanted to do for her, she thought. The shade seemed to think she was part of the illusion. In that case, she thought, she could just play along with it, pretending she was another phantom, and this dreamscape would reduce the pressure on her, giving her time to think. Though in truth, she likely wanted to indulge in that fantasy herself. A long-lost possibility of nothing going wrong, of him finding their homeland. Even knowing it was all a sham, an insignificant sliver of a dream, she probably still wanted to partake in its warmth. And maybe then she would be able to give him a genuine smile. So, what's on the agenda for the day? Initially, she only intended to play along with the illusion, but in time she found herself being drawn into the dream world as well. A fantasy where he had never become the Lord, she never the witch, and the both of them lived uneventful lives in their undiscovered homeland. It was pleasant and peaceful, and she soon began enjoying it in earnest. She had turned off her mind, simply started accepting things as they happened, which she was only able to do because he was hardly recognizable as him. She felt like she had really gone back to being a 16-year-old girl, like she had grown up a normal life, not filled with tragedy, and oh, how wonderful that would have been, if it could have been true. He asked her to sing for him, so she brought him into the shade of a large tree. He told her he had borrowed a lute, but he held nothing in his amorphous hands, so she merely played along. In his vision of this realm, there were others like us for him to borrow from. They sat down in the shade of the tree and sang, only her voice to carry the tune. Like Mikhail in the same condition, the shade was barely able to produce any coherent sound, let alone music. But still, she could tell what he was trying to say, and how he was saying it. The longer she spent in the realm of illusion, the more her own state of mind reverted to those days. The 3 years when she had been able to experience happiness like anyone else, but continuing until she reached the age of 16. She was smiling and laughing, though she hardly realized it herself, nor did she recall that she had explicitly told him previously that she could not smile for him. In time, she even found herself able to speak of her younger days, something she had not told him even in life. How she was known as a saint, how her blood had miraculous powers, and the people of her village began worshipping her for it. She had on some level wanted to talk about that with him in life, wanted to open herself up to him more. She, lost my place, sorry. Wanted him to know more of who she really was. You're just an ordinary girl. He spoke in an unearthly voice, like thousands of rocks scraping against one another, but to her ears it was the sound of the young slave man's voice. A slightly exasperated, always gentle tone. She smiled. You said as much so many times now, I'm almost beginning to believe it, she said, wondering if he would have been the one to give her warmth if things had gone differently. Obviously, that was but a hypothetical future, and one they could have never reached, no less. but she had softened up enough to entertain such silly fantasies. She also thought about her homeland, not the small, isolated village where she had been born, but someplace further up her bloodline, her real father's home. Would you like to meet him? She was telling him of her father when he suddenly asked her that. She was not sure, and she racked her brain in consideration. It was not something she really needed to think about. There was no family here for her to find anymore, after all, but she had indulged herself so deeply in the past that reality was not a concern. She spoke of her father with a hint of sadness in her voice, to which the shade responded with a sudden surge of rage. The whole dreamscape warped around him, and the metallic smell of blood permeated the region. He wanted to seek out her father and mete out divine justice, and the world twisted to fit his image. Any form of violence is forbidden, she shouted, attempting to calm his fury. Not even if it's for my sake, she continued. Any time he had managed to obtain any form of power, it had led him down the path of destruction. He knew no other way to wield it, and because doing so had shown to be effective in accomplishing his immediate goals, he had never bothered to look for any other solutions, which ultimately resulted in him being unable to trust anyone because he only understood power as a blunt object. He was a soft, cowardly man deep down, but because he learned to kill, I don't want you to hurt anyone else ever again. The more he hurt others, the more he hurt himself. This was a lesson that was long, long overdue for him. The shadow stared at her in silence for several minutes. As the blood and fiery rage twisted the illusory realm slowly receded. When it was gone, the shade too seemed to have returned to normal, nodding and saying, "All right, I won't." She let out a sigh of relief. She had slipped entirely back into her childhood. They talked more about everything and nothing, such as the Midsummer Festival, the memory of which filled her with yearning for those times, when everyone was still together, him, his friend Maria, his companion Gratien, and the eternally cheerful Jiren. She was never terribly fond of gatherings of that many people, and that had not changed even now, but she was able to reminisce about it and admit that it had not been entirely awful, that it had been as an important formative moment of her youth, probably the same for the rest of them as well. The three girls holding hands and dancing in a circle, him playing a tune on the lute, and his friend providing a beat. It was a marvelous day. As she reflected, she realized he had been chasing overly ambitious dreams from the very beginning. All his talk of going out into the world, of taking her with him, and he was no different here in this realm of illusion. Eventually, she grew tired of hearing his fantasies, telling him, "Climb down off your high horse and adjust." If he was going to keep chasing after stupid dreams, she would laugh at him every time. If he was going to keep chasing after impossible ideals, she would drag him back down to earth. That way, he would never. And I'll just have to find a new dream. Excuse me? Her mouth hung open in a mix of exasperation and shock, and perhaps a trace of anger. He wanted to shout, tell him how all his idiotic dreams ended with him in shambles, but he seemed unable to pick up on her trepidation, continuing unfazed. "Going to win your heart." She stood aghast. It was the last thing she ever expected to hear from him, even knowing this whole world was his fantasy about what he wished he could have done for her. She was conflicted. She felt many things, but flattered was a line she would never cross. No matter how much she had reverted to her younger self here, her presence still remained. "You murdered me. There's nothing you can do to win my heart, not a single thing." She found herself very close to saying what she felt, but she set her agitation aside to let the dream continue a bit longer, for her own peace of mind more than his. From that point he became almost impressively brazen, even asking her to call him by his name, to which she frowned and said in no uncertain terms, "Why would I waste my breath?" visibly disheartening him. After some time having to watch him mope, she could bear it no longer and attempted to raise a new subject. Whether she asked him about learning to play the lute or going fishing together, the only response she received was a half-hearted nod. She sighed at a complete loss, and then the shadow spoke. "Will you say my name?" Again. Why was he so fixated on such a stupid, insignificant thing? But as he continued, she realized his request was more pitiful and heartfelt than she had ever heard from him. "I don't want you to forget," she gasped. "I don't want you to forget me again." Cracks developed in the shadow. I don't want you to forget what I look like. It wavered, shook, crumbled. The sound of my voice. Still he pleaded desperately. Or how I feel about you. The man who refused to lean on anyone was begging for her validation. I don't want you to forget what we talked about. They were all things she had long since forgotten about him. What kind of a man I was. Things she had locked away in the deepest recesses of her mind. Or all the time we shared together. Memories overflowing with so much warmth they hurt. Please. She cast it all out. His name, his face, his everything. Don't forget me. It was what had allowed her to mistake him for the Lord. She felt a chill listening to the shade beg and plead endlessly. What was she supposed to do here? At the very least, this meant the end of the peaceful, trouble-free illusion. Why would you ask me that now? She said, her voice strained. She was hoping to bask in the illusion a while longer. The shadow said nothing. It simply sat there, waiting for her answer. She mulled over the question for a while, then took another step towards it. She was close enough to touch it now, but she would never do that. Feeling welled up in her breast, a mixture of wanting to scream, burst into tears, and throw things around like a small child. She forced it back, looking down on the shade. If I had remembered, would anything have been different? Could we have not ended up so far down the wrong path? If I had gone and found you, would that have stopped you from becoming what you did? There were 1,000 things she could have done differently. If, after taking up at the cottage on the lake, she had gone into town even once, she could have found out they had a new lord. Maybe he was the one who had sent that knight to visit her cottage, who she had sent away without talking to. Not to mention, if she had only told him about her childhood, the rumors about her blood having healing powers, he would have been able to make the connection between her and the lakeside witch. If she had done something, maybe she could have stopped him from veering off the straight and narrow. In fact, she was likely the only person who could have stopped him. Why am I blaming myself for his mistakes? He's the only one responsible for his choices. She did not know what to do. She had been at a loss ever since learning the truth. The answers had only brought her more pain, and so she had buried them away somewhere out of sight. That must be why. It must have been why she had not yet returned to her rightful place. While she had been brought into salvation by the hands of an angel, ceased being the witch, the girl inside was as wounded and suffering as ever. Can I hold your hand? The shade resumed its pleading. Its desperation clawed at her chest. So, rather than coldly denying the request, she found herself saying, "Do as you please." The shadow slowly extended its hand up to hers, as if scared. It was not playing its part very well. This was supposed to be a dream where nothing had gone wrong between them after all. But the illusion had begun to give way to harsh reality. The reality of having murdered the girl he loved. The reality of having been brutally abused and killed by the man she had leaned on for support. They had both once cared for each other in a very similar way, yet the end result was not love, but terrible tragedy. He was terrified to show someone affection with hands that had only ever brought destruction. And so before he did, he said, I promise I wouldn't touch you without your permission. She knew it was just an excuse, though, that he was simply afraid. Worried about putting his bloodied hands on her, that he might hurt her again, that he might corrupt her, that he had no right to. But he overcame all that, gently placing his arms around her, as if he'd been waiting centuries for this moment. It was an embrace of many things. Love for her, deep regret, and most of all, atonement. He's wanted to do this. In his arms, she could feel everything he felt, since the day I locked his soul in that mansion. She thought back to that time, the unfathomable amount of time she spent as the witch, a force of pure hatred and vengeance. His was the last soul she entrapped, and when she did, he was little more than an amorphous shadow. It took many, many years for him to regain a human form, but even then he was unable to move or speak. He simply wailed something incomprehensible at her again and again. At the time, I thought he was saying how much he hated me. She was wrong. He had simply wanted to atone, but he had no idea how. Look at you, a grown man shaking like a fawn. As the shadow embraced her, it trembled, sobbing loudly into her shoulder. She had never seen him cry before, though she was unsure if this counted since she could only feel it through the nebulous shade. Sometimes I can't tell if you have a heart of stone or of glass. Her entire body went limp. All the tension in her nerves released at once, and she felt like a massive weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Though, I suppose I'm not terribly different in that regard. Unable to even speak my heart unless there's no one else around. Unable to face you except through this childish fantasy. Not even able to show any vulnerability. Maybe she hated to even entertain the thought, but perhaps they were more similar than she wanted to admit. Sometime long ago, in the memories she had banished away, he told her that being close made people more open with each other. And it turned out he was right about that. She began to speak, to tell them the truth of how she felt, letting spill forth the raw pain within, holding nothing back. She told him how she despised him more than anything in the world, because she showed her happiness, then the depths of despair. Then she had no idea what to do with him. How she did regret some of her actions, such as misdirecting her anger. He was consumed by regret over what he had done to her. But he was not the only one who had regrets. As their minds and spirits intermingled, the true shape of her wounds grew apparent. He had hurt her, but she had hurt him too. She had blamed him not only for his own sins, but the sins of another man as well. And for that she had laughed at him, cursed him, mocked him for trying to show something resembling care for another human being. Freeze watch today? Jeez. It's like 60 plus degrees where I am. Though it's unusually warm. Not so. Again and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. I should have known better than anyone how much he was capable of caring, though. She thought back to the decisive moment. Knowing the truth now, she finally understood the full effect of the things she had said. To an even greater degree than Mikhail had told her. She had told the man who had spent 3 years looking after her, coming to apply ointment to her scarred face, rain or snow, that she despised him with all her soul, that he had ruined her life. She had not been seeing clearly at the time, but he had been teetering on the edge as well, and her saying that had been the final push. It was my words that ultimately pushed you over the edge, wasn't it? How had it all ended up like this? Why did they have to hurt each other so much? What was the turning point that sent them so far off the path? He continued holding on to her for some time, pleading for a chance to make amends, spilling his heart, clinging to her like a little child. Something he could have never done in life, or even in death. It was only after repeatedly crushing himself beneath overwhelming regret until he was mangled and hardly recognizable that he was able to show her his weakness, that he was able to show her his tears. But it was far too late. It was all over. Nothing he asked for was something she could give him. No matter how much he begged, she could never stop hating him, could never forgive him. Fissures began to form in her spirit. Memories of her youth brought with them emotions long lost. The time she first directly acknowledged his kindness, it was a bitter, sweet, agonizing, suffocating, innocent feeling. Many, many ages ago, when I was still a child, I looked up to you. The sunrise she saw that morning carried on his back only seemed as beautiful as it did because he had shown it to her. She then grew to yearn the lost homeland he spoke of, admire his lofty dreams, and feel warmth in his hands as he spread the ointment. That was when the seed was planted. Not only of the ability to feel joy, but love as well. I might have even had some fondness for you. And having said that, she noticed the clear droplets rolling down her cheeks. After Mikhail finished unveiling the truth, she shouted, "I cried for him," in a frenzy. And those tears she had shed contained all her feelings for him. On the day of her 12th birthday, that terrible, tragic day, she cried and told the man in the slave cart, "I'm sad because I didn't get the chance to show my gratitude to people very dear to me." And that was true. She was grateful to not only the young slave man, but the girls of the brothel as well. She had wanted to open up to them. The larger portion of her tears were for just one person. She cried for him. She cried for the man who had spent so long trying to help her. She cried because she had not been able to thank him. She cried because she believed him to be dead. She cried for him then. So who did she cry for now? Were these tears for him as well? Were they for herself? No. They were for both of them. She decided to let the illusion continue on a while longer. She knew it was foolish. She had mixed feelings about being here and interacting with him as she had when she was younger, but she had softened up enough to not simply ignore the warmth that also made her feel. She had found it in herself to accept the seed of kindness sprouting within her. She had found it in herself to acknowledge how he felt. So she would use the dream to lead him to his next destination, under the guise of him holding her hand and leading her. Out of the claws of this foolish fantasy to be released once and for all, she would guide him back into the void, that boundless sphere of fate, so that he may live again. They set off through the fields of waving gold. She squeezed her eyes shut, envisioning the young man she once knew, and when she opened them again, he was there, holding her hand and smiling softly at her. "You know, Yukopo, I really hope we don't ever cross paths again. Nothing good could possibly come from us meeting in the next life. I'm tired of having to deal with you. I hate you. I pray I never have to see you again. But should you wish to see me, and should that wish take priority over my own, promise you'll treat me well. If you can manage that, then Yeah, that's a good one. I am gonna leave it there, but yeah, that was the correct. It makes perfect sense to do those two together. Yeah. So I guess next time we'll continue on through short stories and keep going. You know, I mean, a half hour is short-ish. It was less than a half hour because I spent time starting the poison. So you know. Yeah, that's true. We do also have a few of these to do. Look, I don't think we're ever going to finish playing Fata Morgana. But for now, we got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord. Forget the command. See. Nope. Spelling it right.
It's a terrible day for rain.
Yeah. Training arc for Umineko. Yeah, speaking of things that'll never end. Yeah, that's factual.
It's a terrible day for rain.
Yeah, I remember the Curse Music one, but I knew I had set it up with something else too. And yeah, it was the simple version. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. Oh boy, the game just loves to be like happy, sad, happy, happy, sad, 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 sad. Happy, you know, as any good visual novel does. We had happy, that's true, and we have hopeful. I wouldn't call either of the two things we read at the end happy, but I would call them hopeful. We also had South Park in canon, yeah, and Mad Max Fury Road in canon. Yup. Which are two movies that were in no way in theaters at the same time. But who cares? Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. But yeah. Tomorrow, we're going to go back to Slitterhead. Tuesday, I'm taking off. And we'll see about after Tuesday. Wednesday, I'll definitely be off too, obviously. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. It's been Viper of Viperland. I'll see you all next time.